Hey, today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is designed to help us get the most out of this new moon solar eclipse happening Monday, April 8th. It's a time for catalyzing and facing some insecurities. And I have asked for what area of our lives is up for assessment and shifting, what could come up as a challenge to identity, how can we use that to grow, and then how to practice good self-care when this gets challenging. So we have stack 1 with flow, stack 2 restriction, and stack 3 imagination. Their timestamp below. Let's get right to it. All right, stack 1 with flow, you have awaken, which says keep your eyes open. When we decide to live a more conscious life, we see signs of grace everywhere. And then you have the 2 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, the Moon, and the 8 of Cups. All right, Sara, make sure everything fits in here, and I will get to talking. Okay. So your major theme here is clearing, and that means like decluttering your mind, body, and environment. Whatever is blocking or eclipsing your ability to see this grace from receiving it or giving it. And there is a feeling of long-standing claustrophobia with this pile, of energetic suffocation. So for what part of your life you need to prepare for reassessing and shifting, you have the 2 of Wands. So it is a little bit meta here. It's your outlook, your strategy, your goal and intention setting, plan making, dream weaving. So while we do need to stay in the present where our power is to act on these intentions and dreams, we still need to be able to conceptualize with some degree of optimism, or at least visualize a desirable outcome. Choose a destination that you actually like the idea of, that you want to go towards, not where you fear fate is going to take you against your will, because this is all about your will and core setting. And so future outlook and where you sit in your power to choose it. What is coming up that might challenge your identity? You have this 10 of Swords. And so what I was saying just a second ago about having a vision of your future based in fear of where fate will take you against your will, they're challenging any parts of you that are harboring victim mentality. So please do not mistake this for victim blaming, because people do victimize other people. That's real. But we don't have to integrate what has happened to us into our identity. You can say this happened to me without saying I am this bad thing that happened to me. I hope that makes some sense. So when it comes to clearing blockages, we're looking for self-talk that sounds like I am a failure, I am a target, I wasn't meant to have anything, or just anything along those lines. And by challenging these facets of identity, you slowly re-empower yourself to renew your ability to see the potential in your future and your ability to create one you design. So for how you can use this to grow, you have the Moon. You're being invited into your shadow for this one. I mean, duh, right? Like, of course, shifting identity in that way would involve facing fears. And for the most part, facing fears results in growth, 9 times out of 10, right? So exploring your subconscious or deep past to find that seed of that negative self-concept. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're just trimming the leaves that are going to just grow back. And I'm not an expert on shadow work, so I'm just going to leave that one there with encouragement to look into it. Now, for how you can take care of yourself as you peer into your darker corners and tug at the strings of that 10 of Swords self-concept, you have the 8 of Cups. Doesn't that look kind of like a solar eclipse right there? I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, your self-care includes turning your back on something and pursuing something else. You could benefit by withdrawing your emotional investment in something and reinvesting it in this work. And the only way you're going to do it is to prioritize it. So other priorities might have to shift down a notch. And you're someone probably who focuses really well on whatever you are pouring your heart and soul into. And it looks as though what that has been is just not giving back because this flow is blocked, almost like a clogged pipe. So in order to remove the clog, it would make sense to pour your heart and soul into the effort to locate and dissolve that clog. And then you can go back to pouring your heart and soul into the original thing and have it actually be flowing for you. So self-care advice is about prioritizing and directing your care factor. You have to want it basically above all else, and you have to see it as a vital form of self-care in and of itself. When it gets tough, remember your why. Remember that your default wasn't giving you anything, and this will. We are wired to seek and pursue, and we seek and pursue what we are interested in any given time. So get interested in how removing this blockage opens up a whole new world of future possibilities that you cannot see before. It's like a pinpoint of light becomes a vista. So to paint a really concrete picture for illustration of this whole thing, imagine you want to do something, right? You want to paint, dance, record, and you go, but I would need a studio. I don't have room. There's nowhere, no space for me to do this. Therefore, I can't. I'm killing that dream because I have no room in my house to pursue it, okay? Meanwhile, you have one or more junk spaces, the door that you never let anyone see behind because it's your catch-all room, and it's horrendous. Do you really not have space, or would you have to brave the mess and face some fears around getting rid of some things to create that space? Eight of Cups. Would you have to withdraw your energy from the half-assed return thing that you're doing instead because it doesn't have this barrier to entry? Wanting the studio is your emotional push to set to doing this dirty work. I hope that helps. Enjoy the eclipse, and I will talk to you in the next reading. All right, stack 2. Where can I set now? I'm going to go right there. Okay. So with restriction, you have affection, and it says, love yourself. You are the ultimate act of creation fashioned by the hand of a divine artist. And you have the 4 of Cups, the 3 of Wands, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. Never mind the chainsaw up the street. Okay. So your major theme is about freeing yourself from some kind of confinement that was formed around you because at some point in development you received messaging that you had to fit in within certain lines in order to be lovable or worthy, that you could only accept yourself if you conformed to a certain box. So the area of life that you might need to prepare for assessment and shifting is that 4 of Cups. It is an area you might have been overlooking or dismissing out of apathy or disappointment, an area of ambivalence. But why the ambivalence? And it's possibly because of a learned sense of powerlessness. What is that area of your life that you have given up on? What have you accepted as a limit that you can never push past? Where have you decided that you have maxed out, so seeking more is pointless? It's the bottle you keep your love in, the bottle you keep your rage in, the bottle you keep your hunger in. So what is coming up to challenge a part of your identity? You have the 3 of Wands, and that's interesting. It's your optimistic side, your hopeful side, the part of you that is actually desiring expansion and growth. But the 3 of Wands is a card of waiting and watching for something to come to you, and is a challenge to identity, an identity that feels like it has to be kept in check, locked in a corset or cage. Are you waiting for someone else to come along with the key, or for some kind of permission to let yourself out and to exhale? And the challenge might be to that narrative that there is a lock at all, that you can't just declare yourself no longer conforming, no longer kept, no longer shrinking yourself for anyone else's comfort. So for how you can use it to help you grow, you have the 5 of Pentacles. It's about feeling like enough, that you deserve to feel like enough. It's bridging that gap between suppressing your gifts and your power, your words, suppressing your size and your expression, and then because of that, feeling lack. It's like, okay, if that 3 of Wands says that you're waiting to feel like enough before you can expand beyond this old limit, it's the other way around. There's nothing coming along to cut the restrictive band. It's your choice to outgrow it that breaks it. Does that make sense? Now for how to take care of yourself around the discomfort of pushing up against that limit with enough force to actually burst free, you have the 7 of Pentacles. It says take baby steps and watch how the external world responds and mirrors. Because there's also a natural, organic unfolding here of allowing and not forcing and nurturing. It's like more like offering something like reward versus punishment motivation. Don't make yourself, let yourself. You don't have to inflate yourself like a bicycle tire, but when a branch of yourself wants to grow a little more this way or a little bit more that way, you want to dip a toe outside of a boundary here or there, you just don't say no. And then before going further or doing it again, you don't have to push, just observe. What happened? Anything at all? Do you feel less love? Or do you feel an extra pocket that you can now fill with more love? And some things are going to work for you, some things won't. And you don't have to keep putting energy where it's being wasted. Just save it for where you are really seeing results. I hope that helps stack 2. Enjoy the eclipse, and I will talk to you again in the next time. All right, stack 3, imagination. Where can that go? Right there. Okay. With imagination, you have chance. And it says, take the leap. Divine protection is always by our side. And with that, you have the Queen of Swords, the Three of Swords. So we're looking at mindset, apparently. You have the Two of Cups. Love here. And the Devil. Okay, okay. A lot to work with here. So your major theme is creativity, creative visualization, and doing so a little more boldly and expansively and more vulnerably. It's about using this energy of the new moon solar eclipse to catalyze you past any doubts that you can create what you imagine. And so for the area of your life that you might need to prepare for assessment and shifting, you have the Queen of Swords. That is your critically thinking mind, the logician within, the part of you that insists on knowing exactly how, steps A to Z. There's no room for mystery. And this part of your psyche isn't interested in theories or possibilities or new ideas. It's the pragmatist. And that serves a vital purpose for all of us to function, but this aspect of you is up for review, performance review at this time, to see if it's doing more to limit than to assist. So for what is coming up to challenge this area of identity, you have the Three of Swords, and so something has happened in your past to make you afraid of taking that risk. This indicates that you have reached out, you have tried to extend yourself at some point, and it might not have gone well. You might have gotten burned or stung for your effort. And so memories of that might bubble up for review. And this represents any source of pain that has an influence over your choices in the present. It's what's given this Queen of Swords her power. It's why she stepped up and stepped into the driver's seat to take over. I mean, and it's natural to not want to repeat a choice that would invite the same pain. It's natural to not want to risk history repeating itself. And so we put this rationalizing gatekeeper outside the imagination to say, no, it doesn't add up. You know what? It's like an inner C-3PO who's always telling Han the odds all the time. He's like, don't tell me the odds. And if he knew the odds, he wouldn't have tried it and succeeded, right? So for how you can use this pain coming up for processing and review to grow, you have the Two of Cups. Invite someone in to help you. You might need the outside perspective of someone who holds your best interests at heart, someone that you're aligned with. The Queen of Swords is supposedly objective in her best expression, but just like an AI who would calculate objectively that the only way to protect the overall life on Earth is to destroy humanity, that is probably an Asimov reference, but I'm not sure. It could be Clark. Anyway, total cold objectivity has its own downsides, and this is asking for heart and love to be included in the calculation. It reminds me of there's a Regina Spektor song, The Calculation. It has a kind of funny line. It says, and we called our calculation perfect love. I don't know how that's relevant. It just came up. Love defies calculation and logic, and it's the mysterious, invisible, unlimited force that no one can really account for. And like according to Sheldon's math, maybe what you're imagining doesn't work, but love and support have real power and real value to boost your engines and creative power. So this could mean leaning on the support of a partnership to help you challenge these limits, or it could mean to leave room in your calculations for that powerful effect X emotion can have to bring something into being. So for how you can take care of yourself when this gets uncomfortable, you have the Devil. So, who does that Queen of Swords really work for? And have her services been hijacked or influenced by something not so healthy? Look at how logic can be used to rationalize a bad habit or a toxic behavior. But more so, this could refer to the unhealthy coping mechanisms that we all develop to blunt the pain of that Three of Swords. The same thing that helped you cope is keeping you from healing. Self-care does not always feel good. Like resetting a bone or cleaning a wound, it doesn't feel good. Maybe to put it more plainly and actionably, you might have to find and replace something that has been masquerading as self-care, like overspending on self-care branded products that do nothing but drain your bank account, which lowers the numbers that Queen of Swords uses to calculate risk. and replace them with the real deal. Saving money is self-care. It can also be reclaiming your time from self-care themed media and actually acting on some of the advice that they offer. We're talking trading something that offers fleeting comfort for something that will actually do the job in the long run. So trying to avoid the discomfort in the name of self-care is not self-care. The discomfort actually is just as temporary as the instant relief, but the difference is where you are left afterwards, what you are left with afterwards. So I hope that helps make some sense of things. Stack 3, enjoy the eclipse. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.